Y'all really thought I wasn't gonna make this video, but I'm here to prove you wrong. Yo, what is up, Crockxen Climb members, anime fans, and all those who will stump on this video. I'm SoresanCrockxen, and as I mentioned a couple months back when I did my Return to My Roots video, I'm here with my top 10 anime of 2022. Now, thankfully, well, depends on how you look at it. I actually was able to get 10 animes. Initially, when I made that old video, or that, no, I shouldn't say old, it's not that old. But when I made that video initially, I was only like 6 animes in for this year, but I was able to squeeze in a couple more, and I once again, I shout out to my wife because she's literally the one that introduced me to a couple of these things, so we're watching it together. So I was able to actually get 10 animes for this year. As a disclaimer, as I mentioned all the times when I made these videos, these aren't animes that came out this year. Well, some of them are, but for the most part, when I make these top 10s, it's not shows that came out this year. It's usually shows that I found and then I decided to watch throughout the year, right? So there's some shows here that are like from like 10 years ago or shit like that, or like 5 or 6 years ago. There's definitely like a variety, so it's not just shows that came out this year. And as always, please leave your list in the comments section below, because we obviously don't have the same taste and we might not have seen the same shows this year anyway. So please leave them in the comments section below. So without further ado, let's get started with the list. Starting off the list at number 10, we have Kotaro Lives Alone. Now, as many of you guys should know by now, if you've been a fan of mine for a while, I'm a really big enjoyer of drama / slice of life, romance type of shows. Like, those are like my top 3 in terms of rankings. And this show like hits the like dramatic side of slice of life. It's not bad at it, right? But when I look compared to the other shows on this list, it's the most tame of them. If you haven't watched the show, essentially it's just like I think he's like 5 or 6 years old kid who ends up living alone in an apartment complex because his mom, I think, is dead. I'm not quite sure if that's the play they were going with, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And then the dad is like an asshole, so he has to live in this apartment complex, but he like acts very mature for his age, but he's still a child. So it's that mix of like child wonderment because of the fact, he is a child, so a lot of things are new in his mind and the world is so big and vast for him, and also him trying to live an adult themed life centered around the fact that he basically has nobody besides what ends up being like his well, not roommates because they don't live together, but like his apartment mates, because there's a couple apartments in there. So it was a nice show. It was very solid. It's kind of mellow compared to everything else on the list. Coming in at number 9, we have Kaguya Bed and Breakfast. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a typical trope of like demon realm and human realm being like intertwined in some way or shape or form. Now, initially, I was a little hesitant on even adding this anime to the list because it felt so soon since I recently watched it. But like I said, since I watched so many like back to back, I figured I might as well put the ones I like the most out of them. And I think this is one on like out of a couple of them on the higher echelon. It's just that it's one of the shows where I've talked about in the past where I have a big problem with how they handle like the ending portion of the series. Granted, I'm pretty sure there was supposed to be more of it, and we just never got to see it all because probably they just didn't make another season. And I'm kind of iffy on that. Like, I feel like if I had been able to see more of it, then maybe I would be more okay with it. But there's just certain things on it that aren't as fleshed out as I wanted them to be. But I gotta say, the characters are pretty much the thing that sold me on this throughout the show. I believe if it wasn't for like some of the side characters, because like main characters, like whatever, I don't even remember her name at this point, but because I have so many names, okay, there's too many shows that I watched this fucking year. Well, like the last couple months, you think it'd be bad, but anyways, I'm rambling. So the side characters are literally what sold this show for me. So I think that's the main reason why I have it here on the list. Alright, following up the list at number 8, we have Nijiro Days, or I guess if you want to call the English name Rainbow Days. Now, this show it hits 2 spots. It's a romance slice of life. You know, I like it. Typical high school romance shit. I think, okay, listen here. Listen. While I was watching, because like most of these shows I watch with my wife. Let me just say this, okay? The one thing I love about this show, the one thing above all else, is the fucking bromance. Okay? Don't get me wrong. The love, like the romance part between like the 2 main protagonists, I guess I don't remember names, but the main guy and the main girl. Well, I really enjoyed like their constant like back and forth because they liked each other, but they didn't want to admit they liked each other, or they didn't tell each other they liked each other. So it was just like this weird, awkward phase where they would be like very weird with each other, but they still liked enjoying like each other's companies. But like I feel that the thing that made the show so good for me is the fact that the main male characters' best friends are always there to like back him up on everything. Like they're always there trying to support him, push him, give him all the advice or things they need. And they all have their gimmicks too. Like one of them was a fucking sadist, which, you know, I'm like very iffy with, but the way he was handling was kind of funny, and they didn't like skirt around the lines with it with like him and like other characters in the actual show. And then you had like the ladies man, like he's always just dating another girl, or he's like dating 2 girls at once, and then his struggle. Like it was just, I think the way they handled a lot of the friendships is what made this show like pop for me. Overall, I highly suggest, like, if you like just like the funny romance like type of shows, then I highly suggest you at least give it a shot. Alright, next up on number 7, this is one of the more recent ones I've been watching, is Bibliophile Princess. So, okay, the main reason why I like this show is the fact that you know how in most like romance shows, there's always this disconnect of like, oh, like it takes them a lot of time to like confess to each other, and it's always like an awkward time frame between the 2 characters that are enjoyable with each other. And like the guy is usually like a pathetic person who's all nervous about everything, and then the girl is like very shy to talk and all that shit. Well, this one is kind of like, if you take that and flip it on its head, because the 2 main characters, like it's supposed to be a prince of like this kingdom, and then you have this lady who's like the daughter of a count or a baron. I don't remember what her dad's thing is, but they apparently knew each other when they were kids, and then like he kind of like asks him to marry her, like he proposes to her, but as like a fake engagement. That way his parents would back off because they're trying to like get him to find a wife because he's getting older, or like, well, like 18. They're like 18, 17, some shit like that. I don't remember the exact age right now, but they're pushing him, well, like, you need to get married because you need to become king and we need heirs and all this other shit. And then she's like, oh, I don't like anybody, like, I'm very, like, she's all about books. Like, that's why it's called Bibliophile Princess, because she's always in a library somewhere reading, like, a shit ton of books. So they made this arrangement to, like, be with each other in this facade, so that she can have access to the king, like, the castle's archives, which is just a big-ass library with, like, millions of books, and then he can get his parents off his back. But they actually do like each other. And so it's like a roller coaster of, like, them trying to, like, come up to them, like, being okay with this relationship becoming like a full-blown thing, and also like handling like political business and shit, because she's so smart because she reads so much shit. So like she's able to assist in a lot of, I guess the best way to put it is that because she has so much knowledge stored in her head, she's able to give out ideas to different areas of the castle, or different people that come in and out. She's able to provide them with resources that they wouldn't normally have, just because she has this vast amount of knowledge that she's constantly looking at and reading and analyzing, is able to like assist in all that stuff. So I mean, I'm liking it so far. I think the last episode is coming up in the next couple of weeks, so I'm really looking forward to finishing that one up, and then go from there. Moving on to the last part of the second half of the video, we have Kaguya-sama, Love is War. Now, again, most of these ones that I've talked, actually all of these are the ones that I'm talking about. I've been watching with my wife. So this one had 2 seasons. This is the stereotypical high school romance where the 2 characters like each other, but they don't want to admit it to each other. But the twist, and the reason why I have this one so high up, is the fact that they both know the others like them, right? The guy knows the Kaguya, because that's the one name I can remember now, because like fucking it's Kaguya. That's the name of the fucking show. The guy knows that Kaguya likes him, and Kaguya knows that the guy likes her. And the whole purpose of the whole fucking show is to make the other admit that they like them, right? It's a constant back and forth of them trying to like one up each other, coming up with different strategies or different words to say in specific patterns, or date ideas without making it sound like a date. And it's just a constant back and forth. And the thing is, they're both also the top students in the entire school, right? And Kaguya is rich. She's from a rich family. She's also highly skilled, highly talented, takes no shit from nobody. And the guy is from a poor family, but his grades are so high he was able to make it to the school. And he's always constantly at number 1. So everybody sees him as this like fucking genius. So it's kind of like one of those things where the guy doesn't feel like he's up to her standards, right? That's why he wants Kaguya to confess, because he's a commoner versus her, who's like her family are like a multi-billionaires or some shit. I don't remember exactly what her parents do, but so you have that, right? And then Kaguya is more doing it out of principle because of the fact that she's so high and mighty, she expects the other person to come to her, right? So it's just this nice war that's constantly happening, and I love the ending. I think that's the one of the good things about the show is that it's not the typical romance bullshit endings that I'm so sick and tired of watching. They actually come to a conclusion at the end of the show that actually works for everybody, and I really, really enjoyed it. Moving on to number 5, the second half of our list, the top of the top. I am the villainess, so I'm taming the final boss. Now, this is a different take on the isekai stories, which I'm getting sick and tired of seeing them. I'm gonna be honest. I'm every fucking week there's talks of a new fucking isekai coming into the series or into like the fucking ecosystem, and fucking I'm getting tired of them. They all have these fucking long ass names and they're all bullshit. This the only reason why I watched this one is because it felt a little different. First, the isekai character is a female main character. It's not like they have powers. It's all about intellect, and I think that's what I liked about the most. And it's based on the fact that because of the fact that the main character, who is supposed to be the bad guy of the world, right? In the game sense, like the original game, she plays what is essentially the rival character of the main protagonist. She knows the story, so she needs to find a way to manipulate it so that she doesn't get the bad ending, which in the game is where she dies. And it's just a bunch of hijinks going through that entire flow. I think the thing that made me enjoy this show so much is that not only did they throw away that typical isekai storyline bullshit, and they went a completely different route to handle it, is the fact that they make a plot twist in the middle of the fucking show, which wasn't expected. It threw me for a fucking loop. I'm not going to say what it is. But if you watch the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that plot twist causes everything else to go haywire, because now the plot of the game isn't actually going according to plan because of that plot twist that happens. So it was a nice change of pace. I like the fact that they twisted it like that, and it forced what is essentially our main character, which is the villain of the fucking game. It helped us to root for her more, because then she not only has to use her game smarts from when she played the game when she was alive, but also how to handle all these new twists and turns by being smart, because she's really smart. So I really like the fact that the way they handled everything and how they did everything, it was just solid. Number 4, we have Komi-san Can't Communicate. And again, it's just a mellow show. I love the slice of life aspect of the show. I kept telling my wife, I do not want them to end up together. Just because I'm biased like that. I never saw it as a fucking romance show until they started like pushing it in. Cause I like, so the main plot is you have this girl who's the most gorgeous girl in the entire fucking school, but she's an introvert. She doesn't like to talk to people, because she gets scared to shit. So you have the main character, who's not the male main character, who's trying to help her break out of her shell by getting her to achieve her goal of having 100 friends. Before her high school life ends, she wants to make 100 friends. Which is ridiculous because who the fuck needs that many friends? You're not going to remember any of... Well, that's a lie. You can remember 100 friends. It's just really hard to make enough time for all of them. So at some point, you're just going to get split off from everybody, and it's just going to be... It's fucking stupid. It's a stupid goal, but I liked it because of the premise of the show, right? I don't mind it at all. But the problem I have with it, and I know you're probably thinking, oh, you have so many problems with it. What the fuck is this so high up? I'm going to tell you, but the problem I have with it is the whole point is for her to have 100 friends. Why the fuck is he pushing this whole fucking boyfriend shit near the second half of the second season? I'm still waiting for season 3, by the way. But, like, why is this whole romance subplot coming in now? Like, you had that idea at the beginning of the show where it hinted, like, oh, well, he likes her because of the fact she's the most fucking beautiful girl in the school, right? So it makes sense that all the guys have a thing for her. But you came off as a fucking friend, yet now, like, at the tail end of the second season, you're over here like blushing about all this shit, and they're pushing for this fucking romance. I'm sick and tired of it. But I will say, I do like all the cast, like the entire cast. My wife and I are constantly making jokes or laughing at a lot of scenes just because of the wackiness of each cast member, of all the fucking supporting characters. I think that's what pushes this over there. I think this is why out of all of like these slice of life shows on my list for this year, the reason why this is the highest out of all of them is purely because the supporting cast is so above everything. And while I have that problem with the romance tacked in at the end before the third season comes out, I can look past it just because I like the main characters, right? I don't hate the guy, like, right? I don't hate him as a character. I love what he's doing, and the fact that he came out of this treating her like a friendship, right? This whole time he's been treating her like a friend. So I don't hate the guy. I think it's just a matter of, oh, well, there are two characters who are this close to each other, and they're constantly in each other's like space, and there's a lot of tension that builds up because of it. That's the reason why now there's romance feelings coming in from both sides. So like, I'm not gonna hate it if they end up together. I just wish that didn't go that route. I mean, I like them as friends, but we'll take what we can get. Alright, now with the final three, we have One Piece. So now you're probably thinking, the fuck? Where the hell did this come from? Since when have you been watching One Piece? Funnily enough, I actually started this show like last year. I don't remember when I started, but I did start it last year, and it was one of those things where I said to myself, well, there's no other shonen out that I watch, you know, because I always have to have a shonen every once in a while, right? It's not like, I mean, shonen is always going to be a part of my life in some way, shape, or form. So like, there's no shonen out right now. The Black Clover movie isn't coming out anytime soon, and I really don't care about the ones that have been coming out recently, and I really don't care about My Hero anymore. Well, to be honest, I haven't really cared about My Hero since like season 3. I haven't even started season 6. It's pathetic. Anyways, so I was like, you know what? I always said to myself, I should have kept watching One Piece. I really should have. So I sat down and I said, okay, how many episodes are out there? And there's a fucking shit ton. How long is it going to take me to finish this shit? A shit ton of time. But if I do it in spurts, I think I should be fine, right? If I don't like, because I have a feeling of burnout, which was my main concern every time I thought about watching One Piece. Like, I want to burn myself out if I tackle the show. I hate myself for leaving it till now because it's way too long. But I've been watching it like arc by arc type of deal. Like, well, the beginning portion I watched all the way up to, I think, Alabasta. because that's around the time I had stopped back when I was watching in Toonami and 4Kids and all that shit. So I just like marathon most of that because I had already seen it. It's just that I was watching it in Japanese now, you know, in the subtitles. And then from then on, I was going like arc by arc. So like every time an arc finished, I would take a break for like a couple weeks, and I would come back in and watch another like arc, and then take another break. So I think that's I've been able to handle it that well. Although I have to say, there's been like a lot of mixed emotions, which is why it's only at number 3. Because I really fucking love the show. Don't get me wrong. I'm loving One Piece. And I'm like kicking myself in the back because I'm like, dude, you could have been watching this shit from the get-go. You could have done what you did with Naruto back in the day and be perfectly fine now. But no, you decided to, out of the 3 fucking shonens from back then, you decided to drop the one that's essentially better than the other. Well, don't get me wrong. I still prefer Naruto over One Piece as of now, but I think One Piece will eventually take it over. But like the big 3, and you dropped, you kept watching fucking Bleach, which is, well, hypothetically speaking, a lot of people consider it the worst of the big 3, and a lot of people are questioning, what the fuck is the big 3? Why is it called that? We could save that for a future video if you guys want me to talk about it. I can't. I mean, I don't have too much to say. If you probably other people have talked about it. But anyways, the big 3 was Naruto, One Piece, Bleach. A lot of the people would say Bleach is like bottom 3. Like it's the worst of the 3. And you kept watching that one, right? I kept watching that one, but I dropped One Piece. So I'm very I kicked myself in the head in the behind because I'm like, bitch, you could have just watched One Piece and forgotten about Bleach. But I'm loving it so much, but it's just because of the fact that since I've watched so much of it, and there's definitely going to be, you know, downward arcs or something, you know. Big shonens always have arcs that are just like below average. And those dips haven't helped, so that's probably why it's number 3. Otherwise, it would have probably shot to number 1. And the other 2 would have dropped one spot. But as of now, One Piece number 3. I'm pretty sure that by next year, depending on what shows I watch, it might jump up to number 1. But I'm still not sure yet. Alright, moving on to numero dos. We have Spy Family. And you're like, alright, Sora-san, the fuck is going on? What are these shows you're watching? Like, none of these shows make sense. They don't even sound remotely similar to shit you used to watch. What's going on? Well, listen. I don't even remember if it was I or my wife that found Spy Family. Right now I can't recall who was it, but I just love the dynamic between the fucking 3 characters. Anya, Lloyd, and fucking Yor are goated. Like, fuck, I just love, I love all 3. And you're like, whoa, wait, you know their name? Well, fuck yeah, that's why I love this show so fucking much. God damn, like every fucking episode, my wife and I are always like bursting out laughing with everything that happens in the show. And like all the kids, all like the students, well, the main important students, which is like, I forget his Damien, or as Anya calls him, second son, and like his 2 Goonies, and then like Anya's best friend. They're just so fucking great, and I love Yor. Like she's just adorable. Like, what the fuck is Nightwing? Fucking bitch ass. Spy chick, whatever, fuck her. Like, Yor for life. Like, Lloyd and Yor need to end up together. Like, real talk. At the beginning, I was like, you know what's whatever if they don't actually end up together. But no. After, like, over time, the way the family's set up, nah, I want this shit to become legit. Fuck the war. Fuck the fights that might happen. No. We need this family to become one. And I can't wait for the day, when they actually like find out about each other's secrets. That's gonna be like a big whoa moment. It's probably happened in the manga already, but I ain't reading that shit. Not because I don't like it, you know. It's just that I would like, if I would ever get the manga, it would have to be physical, and I just don't have the money or time or space for more manga like that. So, but I'm fucking goated. I love all these 3 characters, and fuck anybody that tries to mess with them. The Forager family for life. Alright, we have finally reached number 1 on our list. We have Inuyashiki. And for those of you guys who remember, if everything goes according to plan and I actually do everything the way I want it to do, my first anime time in years will be releasing in January. Like I said, if everything goes well and I do everything right and I don't goof around, right, and I don't let things, bring me down, the first anime time of 2023 will be on this show. So I don't want to go into too much spoiler territory, right? But if you want to know, this is my #1 show for this year. The dynamic between Ichiro and Hiro, which are the two main protagonists of this show, are the driving force of me liking this show so much. It is a gruesome, I think it's considered a seinen now that I think about it. I don't recall, but I believe it's technically considered a seinen, which if you guys are like not too well versed into like the genres of like anime, this is considered the more mature side of the anime spectrum. It tackles more adult themes, It was very thought-provoking, and it made me, how do I put it? It's one of those things where it makes you question what humanity is really worth and how valuable each person is, and what would happen if humans changed in specific ways, and how certain people would react depending on the changes. So it's a very thought-provoking show. If you have never seen it, I highly suggest you do. I will say right now, the animation is fucking, I don't want to say garbage, but it's really bad. Like, visually, it's really bad. And there's a lot of scenes that just look off, and it's not for everybody in terms of like the visual appeal, but in terms of like the story, I think it's good. The only problem I had with it, and it's not so much the way they handle it, it's just the fact that it just felt off, is how they handled the finale. Like the last episode, while I understand and appreciate what they did, there's just one or two things about it that just feel off to me, and I just don't like a certain part of it. But that will be in the anime time when I make it. That's for you guys to look forward to. And that's it for my top 10 anime of 2022. I apologize for it being so long. I did ramble a little bit. I was going off script, okay? I didn't go fully on script, and I apologize for that, but I tried my best. Hope you guys enjoyed, and like I said in the beginning of the video, please leave your list in the comment section below. Just some if you don't have a top 10, just tell me your favorite anime from this year. It could be a show that'll release this year, right? That happened to be one of the seasonals, or maybe it's a show that you just found this year, and you're like, oh, that's fucking tight. So leave it in the comments. If not, just tell me, how was your year? Did you have fun? Was it awesome? Did you enjoy it? Christmas was not that long ago, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I guess the last thing I can say is Happy New Year's, and I'm looking forward to being with you guys this coming year and all the stuff that we have planned for the channel. I've been SoresanCrockxen, and I'll see you guys in future videos.